Hello and welcome to Start the Beat with Sykes. My name is Sykes and this is my podcast. Before we get started, I just wanted to take a quick moment to thank everyone who checked out the Hello and welcome and thank you for coming to my show. That's not how it goes. Hello and welcome to Start the Beat with Sykes. My name is Sykes and this is my podcast. Before we get started, I just wanted to take a quick moment to thank everyone who checked out the last episode. If you're one of those people, thank you for listening. Hope you enjoyed the conversation. Thanks so much for being here. But for those of you out there who are new to the show, welcome. Please feel free to make yourselves at home. And as always, but not today because I'm a piece of shit, there's beer and soda in the fridge. Make some noise and let's cheers with our invisible beers, my friends. Fist bumps. Fist bumps in the house. Word. Ah, yeah. Very, very cool. Sorry about that. I'll buy you a beer after this. So I'm sitting here today with 4/4 of the rock and rollers, the Redlines. Make some noise for the internet, my friend. So I haven't met any of you before.
Nope.
And I just made a complete idiot out of myself. So why don't we introduce themselves and hopefully I'll find out something embarrassing about all of you in the next hour so we can be on a level playing field.
Sweet. Brian, I sing and play guitar.
Hi, Brian.
Hello, Brian.
Tony, bass guitar.
Hey, Tony.
Mark, I play the drums.
Hey, Mark.
I'm Jason, guitar and sometimes vocals.
Hi, Jason. How's it going? The Redlines, rock and roll.
Yes.
2020, making music with guitars. That's a bold move. How's that been working out for you?
I'm not sure. I think 2020 is our year. I think.
Okay.
I think it's the year.
Hell yeah.
No, we have been saying that.
We've been
every
saying that
year
for a
since
while, a couple
2012.
years, yeah.
This is our year.
Yeah.
This is
Yep.
the year of the Redlines.
I haven't been replaced with a drum machine yet, so it's good. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. So since 2012, that's the origins of the band then?
I think.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Is that fucking that long?
Wow.
I was going with
Wow.
6 years in my head, but 8 years.
Oh, 8 years.
2012. I always say that 2012 to 2016, I always call that the dark ages of the Pittsburgh music scene. It just felt like it was the deadest time. That's an interesting time
I
to
could
start
see
out.
that. Yeah.
Did you research that, or did you just make it up?
No, that's just personal experience.
No. 2012. You said you were talking about us.
No,
No, he said it.
Oh, you did.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Oh,
Yeah, he made a very small nuanced comment that I picked up on because I'm a goddamn professional.
Yes.
Anyways, so 2012 to 2016, I was talking about the dead scene in Pittsburgh as far as I'm concerned with
can
my
see
personal
that.
experiences.
That's fair.
I was going to ask like what was starting out like for you guys when you started out? Was it the four of you? Has this been the original lineup the whole time?
no.
Okay, who's the baby?
I'm the baby.
He is.
Okay.
I'm the baby.
All right.
3
But
years,
he-
just about 3 years.
I think he is now possibly the longest drummer.
Okay.
It's close.
I got you.
Getting there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But-
when you started out though, for like the three of you, what was it like?
Well, actually, it was him and I.
Okay.
And we had a drummer, and then we had a temporary guitar player
Yeah.
who near death took him away from the band.
Oh, geez.
And then Jay came along, and actually our first show that we did was just a 3-piece.
Yeah.
And then
That was
everything.
the one at Howlers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Jay came in not too long after that and started doing some open mic stuff out Jay's way.
Yeah.
Acoustic.
Yeah.
open
Most
mic
of
stuff.
the stuff we did was out either Beaver or Butler.
Yeah.
Okay.
It wasn't even in Pittsburgh
Yeah,
too
it's
much.
just a 3-piece for a while. We did a lot of three-piece acoustic type stuff.
Yeah.
Shows and stuff. Everything.
Farmers Market.
Oh, yeah. I remember the farmer's market. Yeah.
you did a farmer's market?
Yeah.
Yeah. We got yelled at
Butler
during the
City
show.
Farmers Market.
Were you too loud at the
Our
farmer's
acoustic
market?
rocking was
We
too
may have
much.
been.
we were too loud.
You're hurting the cucumbers'
Yeah.
ears.
Your acoustic rock is too loud for my ears. Turn that down.
Can you turn it down?
It's funny. I remember I ran sound for an event here, actually, at Penn Brewery. And it was in the parking garage. And there was just a rock band playing some friendly rock. I mean, it was loud, but it wasn't like, it wasn't fucking Van Halen
Yeah, it was
or anything.
aggressive.
Right?
Or, yeah.
And like, just like, can you turn it down? Na, 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 na. It's like, why do you leave the house?
You guys remember
Oh,
this?
yeah. Yeah, we had an event where the guy.
And it wasn't an event. We played at a fucking shitty ass East
Butler Fire Hall. Yeah. And that was his signal to us. You guys are too loud. Turn it down.
It was a small roof. Like when we were on
ceiling.
stage,
Yeah.
Tony probably could have jumped and hit it. And because of the small room, you know, the guys like, you can't play that loud. And the entire time, like I'm sitting here trying to concentrate on playing, but I can really concentrate on trying not to be too loud so I don't get the. Didn't he have? He had a hook.
He had a hook.
One
He had
hand was a hook.
He had a hook.
So with his non-hook hand
Yeah.
would give you the.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, he was giving us.
Comic book? What
He was
comic
giving us.
book were you playing?
He was giving us hand signals with his hook,
East
which is
Butler.
really
Dude, that's
distracting.
Butler,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have a whole lot of experience in Butler, but
We've only played there once.
I'm not
It
surprised.
was very Spinal Tap. That was a very Spinal Tap moment for sure.
I'm really glad you
Yeah,
guys
he
didn't
wasn't
bring me
there
into
yet.
that one.
So, I mean, I guess over the years, though, you've broken out of the Butler farmers market circuit.
Yes.
And
We actually had a very successful show at the Butler Lindora Hotel.
Oh,
the
yeah?
other day. Yeah, no, seriously though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was actually good. Yeah, that
That was
one
good.
turned out
Yeah,
well.
that was good. Yeah.
Nice. So, what's it been like? I guess we talked just very briefly just about the start, but like now, let's talk about the past year of the Redlines. How's everything been going for you guys?
Good. We had a new EP last year, which was our first in a while. That was, after we got the new drummer, and took us a while to get gears.
Get rolling again.
Yeah. But last year was good. We were able to get that done, write some more stuff to where we're recording again now. We weren't all that active last year, and I think this year is shaping up to be better. So, like we said before, 2020 is our year.
Yeah, well, I find
There was there was a lot of studio work in that. I mean, there was me learning new material, trying to get in and like polish off some things to actually go out and play. So, I mean, we focused more on the actual content of what we
Yes.
had to offer, rather
Kind of more
than
of a
just-
transition
right.
period for the
Yeah.
past couple of years.
Yeah.
I find that it could be really difficult as you get. None of us getting any younger, am I right? But as you get older, to just find the time to essentially fuck off with your friends is basically what we're doing at this point. It's just fucking off with our friends.
Yes.
And it's like, how often do you guys practice?
Pretty much once a week.
Once a week, right? Yeah.
For 2 hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
A whopping 2 hours.
It's very similar. It's like I play in a couple bands, and it's very much like once a week, maybe 2 hours of actual practice, and then maybe another hour if we're lucky of just random bullshit.
Yeah.
Sometimes more, it depends.
But
But
we're not allowed to do that. We
Yeah,
get
no,
kicked
we
out
gotta
of the
go
house.
Yeah, pretty much. So, all right, 9, you guys
9
got to
o'clock,
go.
We're getting pushed out. Yeah.
It's not as bad anymore, but as the kids get older,
on a school night, man, we're out.
We're all business. Redlines. We're all about
Yeah.
business. We're all business.
That's our tagline.
Yeah. Mhm.
so you have the very it's very relatable, but the whole practicing at the house
Yep.
with the family, and just very walking the tightrope of support and patience with family members.
Yeah. However, my son is old enough. My oldest one is old enough now that he has his own band. So some things have eased up.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
As I'm talking, probably should
What?
just shut the fuck up.
What's it like having a kid that's starting to play music and do
That's
shows
cool.
and shit?
It's
I can't
cool.
imagine. It has to be awesome.
It's hard though, because as I mentioned before, I just got to kind of know when to shut up and get out of it. And, I definitely try to help as much as I can and offer help, and basically try to get them to not step in the same shit puddles that I did when I was younger.
Yeah.
So they have that. I mean, they're my son's the youngest at 16, the oldest is 19, and they got studio recorded stuff on streaming services now. Where back in the day, that wasn't available. When I was that age, or even 20-something when I was
a
doing
kid.
that.
Yeah.
But I didn't even have a studio recorded CD until this band. So
Yeah. So you've been doing music for a good portion of your life, Brian.
yeah. My first legit band that wasn't a cover band in high school was when I was 22, 23. Skank and Homer was a punk ska band. He was the roadie.
Yep. Road manager.
Road manager. Excuse me.
Come on.
He was promoted. Road manager.
I got into the shows for free. That's all that mattered.
He
Cool.
was
Yeah.
also the drum bitch.
Drum bitch, yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna
Super bitch.
I was gonna ask everybody like kind of round table. So Tony, what was like your background in music? How long have you been doing this stuff?
I started playing in high school, so that would have been 25 years ago. Never really had a real band until, helping out Skank and Homer, but then I played in Paging Mr. Herman. We were around for a couple of years, like 2001 to 2004.
Don't forget that one show that Dreadnought played.
Oh, yeah. And then I've been in bands with him for like 15 years, the last 15 years, different incarnations of Skank and Homer, Dreadnought, The Fire Shot, some type of like reggae. Dub stuff.
Yeah.
Until this came along. So yeah.
Yeah. So you've been doing this a good chunk of time too.
And it doesn't show. Like, like I've been playing for so long, I should be much better than I am, but I'm not. Yeah.
Not with that attitude.
I feel the same
No
way.
arguments here. Not arguments here.
Everybody's nodding. Yeah.
I'm nodding because I agree. I feel the same way. 24 years of playing drums, and I probably should be better than what I am.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think I started when I was.
But you're good at what you do. You just
Yeah.
kill what you know and fuck all the rest.
I
Don't-
stay in the pocket, just do my thing, and then
Not
that's
too many
it.
films.
Four on the floor. I just keep the root notes. We're good.
Just let Jason do his thing, and everybody's happy.
Let the stars shine.
Exactly,
Right.
let the star shine.
So Mark, then you've been playing in bands for a couple decades as well.
Yeah,
On and off, or just at least playing.
I mean, I don't count any of my high school stuff, bands. That's just getting together with buddies and playing in somebody's basement at that time.
Yeah.
So you've progressed a lot.
Experience.
What's that?
So you've progressed a lot.
Yes, I've
Well, yeah. Well,
played in somebody else's basement.
Because I think we just said like 5 minutes ago, that's pretty much what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
Well, you went
great.
from a basement in Monroeville to a basement in Butler. I mean, like
Correct,
that's
yeah. We've upgraded.
Yeah.
There's
North.
more talent now. Talent.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only because I'm sitting beside him. And I
Yeah,
can
and that's
get
why
hit.
I was saying that. Yeah, I know.
What about you, Jason? What's your background like?
I've been playing in bands for over 20 years. I started out in a band called The High Frequencies, and we played around a lot in the late 90s, early 2000s, put a couple records out. It was a good time. It was fun. It was great. So, yeah, I don't count anything I did in high school. Unless you count playing the skin flute. So I don't think that counts. But
So with the styles of music that you've all played over the years, do you feel like you've had like a wide variety of styles? Like what kind of music was the High Frequencies?
we were very 60s sounding, very surf, garage rock.
Yeah.
We did like half instrumentals, half vocals. So it was very much like very, very 60s sounding. So then I was in a cover band for a couple of years, so I would learn different types of music that way. So it's been pretty much all over the place for me.
That's cool though. I love
Yeah.
being able to like take those experiences that you gain from playing different styles of music and you're able to apply that into stuff, especially with like doing you do guitar, right? So yeah, with the surf guitar stuff, that's a lot of like that'll get you warmed up.
Oh yeah, and it makes you a good musician too, because you really got to be tight. The stuff it sounds simple, but it's actually really, you got to be locked in, and everything has to sound perfect. Especially there's no vocalist, so you can't hide behind the vocalist. So that's really, you got to be on. So it makes you better. Yeah.
What about you, Mark? Like what's like your palette of music stylings?
Mark's actually the least I know musically.
All right,
What?
Let's find out.
Yeah, like what do you? I was thinking about it today.
Well, I mean, I played, like
No, like what you actually like listen to. You've name dropped some stuff occasionally, but
I mean, I go all over the place. I mean, I listen to, I guess when I played in high school and things like that, in my other band that I played in, it was called Ill Fated. It was more harder rock. So, I mean, it was still like just driving that train along just a little bit faster pace. And then when we play now, it's just more regular rock and roll. So, but if I was jamming or playing on my own, I was listening to things that was a little bit more progressive rock. I mean, I even
Typical drummer.
yeah, progressive rock. What you hope you could do, but you really can't. You listen to like Neil Peart or Mike Mangini or something like that, and you're listening to those guys. You're like, yeah, you play along. You're like, yeah, I play 3/4 of what they actually could play at the most. But I mean, music wise, I was all over the place. I guess I was listening to country, rock and roll, heavy metal, R&B, hip hop, rap. I mean, it was all over the place. But I think it all played into kind of what I do now. Just because it's like you hear something that might work, but It works out. It sometimes works, it sometimes doesn't. Those guys tell me no, and then I just move on to just 4 on the floor and go from there. So
that was why we let them in, because like no fills.
yeah.
You had 3 fills a song. Choose them wisely.
I remember the first phone call I had with you was, I was like, yeah, I just pretty much stay in the pocket. I don't do too many fills. He's like, you're in. When can I see you?
So what's up with that? Let's talk about this anti-drum fill.
All right, well,
sort of.
All right, let's go there. Let's put it on record.
Yeah. We had our first album was a full length. Well, no, we did an EP first, and then we expanded on and made it into a full length. And I counted the fills in each song, and at the most, I think one song. Let me ask you a question, Sykes. What do you think should be the limit for just your straightforward rock and roll band? What's the fill limit? Like, if you're over this number, you probably got too many fills.
I've never thought about this in my goddamn life.
You're not helping my point.
I have no idea.
I'll answer it for you. It's 3. Just say 3.
We're talking about we're talking like Phil.
I think that's the thing. It depends on like what is a drum fill versus like what is a transition. Or are they in the same boat?
That's a good point. And it was confusing when I was counting. Do I count that? Do I count that?
Because like,
but I heard myself saying that 20 times in each song. Do I count that? Do I count that? Well, the number's already up to 30. Do I count that?
Yeah. It was
42 was the highest.
Okay.
42?
42?
It was fucking high.
I think
answer to
there's
everything.
probably a thing where obviously, you're doing rock and roll. So there is a pop format to traditional rock and roll where you want to keep things in the pocket, right? And you don't want it to be too flashy on the rhythm section. It's just not part of it. Yeah. And if it is, definitely not with fills. So if it's getting to a point where the beat is constantly getting broken, if the groove's getting broken,
exactly. That's what it was.
That could be a distraction.
Yes.
I could see that.
I would be rocking out in the song like,
fuck. But you have to serve the songs. Right?
This is a balance that I've had to deal with a lot because I play in a heavy metal band with players that everybody wants to just play. It's fucking metal. That's what you do. Yeah. But dropping the ego and realizing that the song isn't about you and your drum parts.
Yep.
And it's like I deal with the guitar players a lot that they like if a riff is simple, it's bad. And it's like no, if it's catchy, it's good. Like just because you can't play something doesn't mean that it's like optimal for the song.
Right, yeah.
Don't shred away. Like, just make something that is a good earworm that's going to work well with the bass and the drums and the vocals. That's going to make a whole song. So sometimes you just have players that can play a bunch of different stuff, and that's cool, but it doesn't mean that you should.
Right.
I remember when magazines were a thing, and you would always get all your Modern Drummer magazine in the mail or something like that. And I remember opening up to one point, and I saw this article in there, and it basically was just like 2 drummers auditioning, and one was like ripping through a bunch of 30-second notes and stuff like that and going through, and the guy's like, oh, you're amazing. And then the other guy just comes in and plays 4/4, straight beat, and he goes, you're hired. And that's what I was like, all right, that makes sense. Like you can be as amazing as you want, but if you don't understand what you basically need to do to just make the song work, you're not helping anybody. You're just
it can be distracting.
Right.
Yeah. Very, very distracting. Mm-hmm. I think that I was just talking about this earlier today with I had another episode earlier before you guys came in. We were talking about the difference between like being a good player and being a good songwriter and how they don't necessarily always go hand in hand.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It took me a while to realize that when I'm writing something, guitar riff or just a progression or whatever, that for a while I had the mentality of, all right, that's not interesting enough. That's too simple. Okay, well, I'm not the only one that's going to be playing. There's going to be 3-4 other parts going on, and the combination of all those together needs to make it interesting. My part doesn't have to be the freaking focus and be interesting. It just needs to work with everybody else.
Yeah, it's just like, it's like, rosemary by itself, not that interesting of a spice, but man, you put that on some potatoes and you're fucking flying, baby. That's some good stuff. So it's
Yes.
Salt and pepper, macaroni and
Spices.
cheese, right? No drum fills and a guitar. There you go. Those are recipes for success, I suppose.
Yeah. So the drum fill, back to the original point, the drum fills basically were interruptions all the time.
Yeah, I could see that.
So I got tired of it. And we couldn't.
And it wasn't like like every drum fill was a boombastic, very
like, look at me.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly how it was. And we're like, look, let's tone it back.
Yeah, there's
and
also like a difference between like you have like drum fills, you have transitions, but there's also
Yeah.
just like flavor. Like sometimes like a drummer
Yeah.
could still be in the pocket, accent something really cool on a hi-hat that matches a vocal line that's like, it's not this big like fucking stadium rock, look at my fucking dick type thing. It's just like a little like, hey, yeah, I got some fucking flavor.
But that's what it was. Like when he's talking about fills, it was we're talking tom fills, not hi hats or little accents or little drum roll like snare roll. But it was like and you're like like we're playing like a pretty chill like 12-bar blues thing.
Sure.
It's like
Slow it down.
It would be like if In the Air Tonight had that drum fill over and over again.
Yes,
It was
exactly.
kind of like that. It was kind of like that.
It happens once in the song.
yeah.
And that's all.
And you
it is.
remember it because it only happens fucking once.
Yeah.
If there was drum fills throughout that song, would that drum fill you're talking about mean anything? No, it wouldn't mean
Yeah,
shit.
that's the point I was always trying to make. Look, you make that one drum fill, and you make a count, that's going to stand out, and people are going to remember that. You do 20 drum fills in a song, people are just going to be like, "This."
And you
this is
can
boring.
and
Stop
like I
doing
think
this.
his thing was like if you're just playing just like a simple beat, like he was afraid it was gonna be too simple and just boring. But like even just hi-hat, snare, and bass drum, you can do creative things with that and do the accents and do just
Michael
whatever.
Jackson, Billie Jean. That groove is undeniable. And it's just like and then with the right little bass line behind it, dude, you're set.
Yeah, and
That's
it's
all you
like,
gotta do.
like
How about
why-
every Beatles song? Just about every Beatles song is all just 4 on the floor.
Yeah.
Straight.
Yeah, straight.
Straight.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's why we found Mark and we said, "You're a keeper."
I'm a basic person. That's why they kept me.
I don't
Basic bitch.
I was trying not to go there.
Well, my question then is like, what are your feelings on like guitar solos?
Oh, we're all for it. 100%. 100%. Yeah.
But the whole song, I
no.
suppose, isn't a solo.
It's same concept, I guess. There's a time and place for everything. I have this thing where I don't have to say it as much with these guys because they know by now that when I say me, I'm not talking about my part. I'm talking about just that part in the song or like the vocal. I'm not talking about me. It's not an ego thing. It's, when the verse is going and the main vocal is going, like that's the focus. We don't need guitar noodling all the time, so that's
there's something about songwriting that it's kind of a hard pill to swallow sometimes, but it's just like your part doesn't need to be interesting. Like every part cannot be interesting. Sometimes there just needs to be like a guitar part that's bleh, but it works. It's just kind of there because it's just wallpaper to the vocal line.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
You listen to it by itself and it's like, oh, this is all it is. Like there's been plenty of times where I've like, oh, I want to cover this song. And it's like, a song that you love and you go and you start learning it. You're like, oh, this is all it is? Like what the, this is nothing, but that fucking vocal line makes the whole thing or like something else. The bass line makes the whole thing. Like there's always these little, it's always just kind of like one thing that's sticking out and everything else is.
Something is the hook.
Yeah.
Not everything is the hook.
Yeah. Everything can't be the hook at the same time.
Yeah. There has to be just, the one thing or two things, but everybody else has to play their part to make that hook the hook. So
Yeah.
I think we consciously kind of try to do that, or like kind of pull back and say like, all right, well, I might try to do something too much on the bass, and it's like, no, like pull that back, bring it.
Yeah, I am a big checker of, that stuff. Like,
and you have to like take your ego out of it and just be like, okay,
Keep it
cool.
simple,
Yeah,
dude.
let me.
Get it
I'll pull
grooving.
it back, see what that does, and then you go, oh yeah,
It grooves now.
Totally. Yep, I get it.
now I'm moving.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm a very, very big believer in the idea that if something, writing a song shouldn't be hard. And if you're ever at a point where like you're stuck on something, chances are you have too much of something going on, not enough of something else. You got to pull something out.
Totally agree.
Like, fuck it. Like, I don't know what to do on this next part. Just let the drummer go for a couple measures, get a catchy vocal line in, drop everything, and that might do it. Pull some things back. Stop trying to
just experiment.
Be willing to do that. And not having an ego is such a big deal because at the end of the day, y'all want the same thing. Everybody's just trying to make a cool song.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's enough opportunity too, where like, okay, if I'm gonna have a simple line in this one song, I know that in the next song, I could try to do something a little bit more creative or whatever and make it a little bit more complex because I'll have that opportunity. It's not like this is the last song we're ever gonna write and that's it.
We're gonna play this song for 45 minutes.
The other thing,
It's the only bass line you get to play.
Yeah.
it's important that like the feeling of the song is there before anything else because nobody, especially on our level, not to like be very self-deprecating towards myself or your band or anything, but like on our level, it's very rare that people are going to listen to our music as hard or as in-depth as we are.
Yeah, they're not. We're not getting critiqued.
Yeah,
Rolling
I don't
Stone
think
or
like
whatever.
Pitchfork is reviewing either of our albums anytime soon, which it would be tight if they did. Maybe, I don't know. I don't think Pitchfork gives a fuck about anything I'm doing, but like just saying this is like sometimes like over analyzing. It's good.
No,
It's
you're
good.
right.
It's good to a point because you want to put out something that you're happy with and that you feel is like a good representation of your abilities as a musician.
Yeah, it's a
but
fine
if you
line.
like overthink it and you start worrying about like, oh, this part's going to be too simple or this is going to be too technical or maybe even to some degree, oh, maybe there's too many drum fills in this. I don't know. Maybe sometimes it could be overthinking. But if it doesn't feel right, it doesn't feel right.
To be fair, they have to tell me to put drum fills in. You really should probably do
have done
something
that,
here. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, okay.
Make it more
I'm
louder.
getting mixed signals.
When Jason tells me you should probably put a fill in there, I'm like, oh, all right, I'll do that.
It's called dropping the F bomb. Yeah, fills. Yeah, dropping the
Okay.
F-bomb.
Don't do the fill. Fill is the F bomb in our world.
Yeah.
That's really funny, actually. Hell yeah. So right now, like what's on the horizon for the band? You keep saying 2020 is your year. I don't have a release date for this episode, so we can't talk about any specific shows, but just a general thing. Like, what do you got going on?
Well, we are currently recording right now. And we go back and forth. What do we want to do with this? Full lengths are kind of silly at this point, and they're cool. But EP is just 5 single releases. How do we want to do this? So I think that's what we're doing. Just consistently releasing singles, and at the end of that, we have an old EP that we didn't really focus too much on. That we're gonna, I think, retrack the new 5 and those 5, do a
That's
full length LP,
Yeah.
and finally get a full length vinyl. We have a 10-inch vinyl. We're moving up to the 12-inch. However, first though, we're working on a little 7-inch release with one of these new songs and like a basement demo that we've done. In Butler, we mentioned a nice gig that we just had in Butler, and it's kind of a format that I started a little while ago that I've expanded upon now with, we have a local radio station that really pushes local bands in regular rotation.
Cool.
And we're actually one of those ones that they actually like a lot and play a lot. So we took radio ads out for this last one, and, we get to the bar to kind of likes that. They gave us some money, like a guarantee, get the door going. Had 3 bands in there. I had pool. I had vendors there. Did a 50-50 raffle that we had we donated, the 50 to the Veterans in Need organization for Butler County. So we made it more of an event. Yeah. So we had sponsors, and that's kind of growing now. So that's something that's going to happen like 3 times a year. I was able to actually pay the bands an amount of money that they're like, oh shit.
No, respectable amount. Yeah, respectable amount of money.
Set, you're getting over $300.
Yeah.
And there's radio ads, which is cool. Getting the town to they want to go out and see music, but like just advertising on, or not even advertising, just putting it out
Posting on
social
Facebook
media.
now, yeah.
Throwing some
So
flyers
promoter-
up around town just doesn't get a lot of people out.
So a promoter actually promoting a show.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
it really kind of grinds my gears when a lot of people talk about there not being money in local music. And like, I guess in a sense, there isn't necessarily money to be like, okay, like cool, like I'm paying off my fucking mortgage and car payment type shit. But there's definitely enough money for a band to be 110% self-sustainable in the local music scene.
Yeah.
If you do things like booking your own shows, being smart about when you're playing shows and not being afraid to ask for guarantees and just work out deals.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like whenever we started Grey Walker, well, the band was already, but when we started doing Grey Walker stuff, like really seriously 5 years ago, we all put in like $50 to get shirts made. And that's like the only money anybody ever put into the band. Aside from that, it's all been like any merchandise, recording, releasing stuff, like everything has come from, you know, touring, playing shows, getting guarantees. And like the band itself has just been completely self-sustained. And it's not hard. We don't even play that much. And like, it's completely possible to do just because it's just like, well, you know, we book a lot of our own things and we are just smart about the offers that we take. You can, like a band, like people, that's a different story, but a band can make money and be self-sustainable if they're just smart.
Yeah. But I think you're right. You have to be selective about what shows you play. I think there's a lot of bands that are willing to take the free shows. They're willing to take the pay to play shows.
Yeah. I mean, we do that too. But it's like,
but you have to be selective.
Yeah.
You have to be selective. I mean, like we do free shows too, but you can't just take any free show that comes along. It has to make sense. Like, is it for a charity or something that you believe in, or is it for, you know, something where you know that it's going to be a big audience for you or whatever?
Yeah.
But like a lot of younger bands, they'll start and they're like, we'll take anything that anybody throws our way, and now that's why we have a lot of promoters that are like, you have to sell 50 tickets or else you can't play the show. And it's like, how did we get stuck in this trap? How do we get stuck in this trap if we have to sell the 50 tickets? Like you're the promoter. You sell the tickets. I'll provide the music, you know, but like
there's a lot of bands that don't want to work.
Yeah.
And that it's funny because like there's a double-edged sword to it, because I think with the ticket situation, I think it for younger bands, not necessarily young in age, but just like people that are new to doing this shit. Yeah. I think that it could be a great way to like learn the responsibilities of the business side of being in a band. Like, oh shit, we've agreed to sell X number of tickets. We got to get off our ass and we got to fucking, you know, message our friends, some family people, maybe post some stuff on the internet and like, you know, get these tickets sold. It teaches you how to, it kind of kicks you in the ass a little bit. Yeah. But the unfortunate thing is you'll get a lot of bands that are younger bands that will agree to sell the tickets and they'll just buy them themselves. Because they don't want to promote, but they're a new band. They want the show. They don't want to promote. They don't have any fans, but they want to play with a band whose t-shirt they've seen on sale at Hot Topic. So they agree to fucking do this, right? And then they get burned because they realize that they just spent $300 on tickets to play to nobody because they just bought the tickets. And then they give the scene shit because they're the ones doing it. It's like nobody's holding you down by your throat saying, buy these. You don't have to play that show. Yeah. But you get a lot of bands that agree to do these things that they're not ready to do. And then they simultaneously complain about it. Yeah. It's really, really silly.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a thing that we struggle with. I mean, like we've been offered good shows and we're like, oh yeah, you know, I guess we're gonna have to sell tickets, but can we? Do we think that we could sell enough tickets? Oh, yeah. Like,
who wants to come to see the Redlines for $20?
Yeah.
On a Thursday.
Yeah. And it's like you have to be selective of what, you know, which ones it is. But it's also frustrating on the other side when you're like, wait, you know, I haven't seen any ads. I haven't heard any ads on the radio for this show. I haven't seen any promotion whatsoever. And it's like, I'm doing all the work. Yeah. Like, you know, there's shows that have been put on by bigger promoters. And it's like my family were the only people at the show. Like, so I did all the work. Like, that's not right either. Yeah. But it's like, how do you fight that? I'm not going to go against the promoters and be like, you guys are doing a bad thing. It's like, I know what the situation is and we're kind of agreeing into it.
Yeah. You don't have to fight it. You just book your own shows. Yeah. And it seems like that's something that you're already doing. That's really the best way to fight it. There's like,
but on the other hand though, like, I'm not going to be able to book a show with some of like not the
Sure.
Hot Topic bands, but like
yeah.
my version of Hot Topic. Like I'm not going to be able to book those shows. So like I have to go through the bigger promoters around here to be able to live out that dream.
Yeah.
Well, it's like one of the things like we use it as almost like a gateway into being able to do it, right? So you suck it up and you kind of deal with like the one or two that you have to put up with to promote your own thing, even though they have resources to do it. But then at the end of it, you know, if you do a good job, they're typically like, hey, you know.
Yeah, I was going to say, to their credit, they will ask you or be a little bit more proactive towards you instead of like just the call out for like, does anybody want to open for this band?
Oh, yeah.
They'll be like, hey, this band's coming in. You guys seem like you'd fit. You want to play?
Yeah, you could build
You
good
need to build that,
relationships
yeah.
with promoters, and like there's been several circumstances.
But getting that foot
But
into
again,
the doors.
you have to work to get there.
You just have to don't go in over your head. I think that
That's
there's
a really good point.
A band that's coming in that's like, okay, it might be $20 on a Thursday, but I know goddamn well all my friends are going to this show anyways,
Right.
And we could sell 50 tickets to this, no problem.
Yeah.
And then you just do it.
There's one problem though with that I've also seen. It's like, okay, I don't find out that I'm actually going to be able to play that show, or that we don't actually get that show until 60 days prior to it.
Sure.
But my friends bought tickets already.
Yeah.
So now I've lost the chance to sell to 10 or 15 people because they bought their tickets right away because they love that band.
There's been situations that I've been in where stuff like that has happened, and I've just straight up been with the promoter. I'm like, look, like, you know, this show is X amount of days away, and like the tickets have been on sale for 3 months already, and you want me to sell? It's like, I can't do this. I can play this show if you cut it down to 25. You know what I mean? Like, if you would have put me on this show when tickets went on sale, I could have done this.
I think what's cool, we've been pretty honest with the promoters, and they've been pretty responsive.
Yeah.
Like we've told them like, like I don't think we could sell the number of tickets that you would hope us to sell. And they're like, okay, yeah, we'll just adjust
typically it's a time frame thing, like you said.
Yeah, like they get it.
Or like the other thing too is I'll say like if there's, you know, it's like some heavy metal show. You got like one band playing at the Smiling Moose, you know, one touring metal band. It's like this band probably has 50 draw. And you got 4 local openers. We all have the same fucking 50 fans. And you want us all to sell 50 tickets? I'm like, you're out of your mind. It's like you either got to cut bands off this bill if you want us to sell that many tickets, or you're dropping our minimum down, or it's impossible.
Right.
Yeah.
There's no fucking way to do it.
It's an odd situation. And what I'm curious about it, I've never got to experience going to another city. I wonder if other cities operate the same way. From what I've heard, like it seems like Pittsburgh might be kind of like a unique way with how the promoters handle, like you have to sell the 50 tickets in order to get opening spots. But I
don't think it's incredibly unique. I think that the one thing here is that I think that in some bigger cities, I would imagine there's a little bit more of a disconnect. Whereas like, since Pittsburgh's kind of a smaller city for a lot of bigger touring bands, they may actually have local openers where other cities may not even need to do it just because it's a bigger draw to begin with. You know what I mean? Like we're kind of like a bit of a flyover state in some aspects when it comes to touring bands. So I mean, a band that may draw 100 people here and may want 2 local openers to get another 100 people in the door, they may draw 500 people in Manhattan easy.
Right,
and they, you know, by themselves, they don't even need an opener.
Yeah,
so it's just part of our market.
Yeah.
But I do think that, you know, I don't think that any of the promoters in Pittsburgh are smart enough to have pioneered this tactic. So it definitely came from somewhere else. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah. No, I do like some of the promoters, they offer a thing where it's like, all right, we want you to sell 20 tickets. And if you sell
over 20,
we'll give you an extra dollar per ticket or whatever.
I always try to work stuff out like that with the promoters, just because it's like it's one of those things where it's not even so much an ego thing. It's just kind of like you're asking us to play, and we are going to bring people to the show,
right?
But like, you know, we don't. If it's not worth it for us, we're not going to play.
And as long as it's not pay to play, as long as it's not like, you have to sell 20 tickets or you're done.
I think a lot of people get those two things mixed up too.
Oh, yeah.
They think that just like selling, you're being asked to sell tickets for a show.
That's not pay to play.
It's not pay to
That's
play.
not pay to play.
It's just like there's, how many dozens of bands that want to open up for like the Dead Milkmen or, Bad Religion or what, as if they had local openers. But you know what I mean? Like there's so many bands that want to open up for those.
Yeah.
And it's like you think that like just because like it's like there needs to be, I think it shows some sort of being willing to take the responsibility and put in the work. I think that's something that the promoter has to do.
Oh yeah.
And if, the promoter's not the boss, there's like a TM that's going to be like, okay, who's this local band? They've agreed they've agreed to sell this many tickets. They have this presence on social media and like they're they want to know all that
Yeah,
stuff.
we get approved all like I don't know how many times we've opened up for different bands and they're like, yeah, well, we have to send it off to the talent manager and they'll figure out who if you can open up or not. It's not just a decision of the promoter. Yeah. So yeah, it's definitely an interesting
it makes
situation.
It makes a lot more sense, I think, once you've stepped into the shoes of actually being a promoter and setting up an event and understanding like how much work goes into it. And sometimes that's the thing, is like you're doing this one time for your band, like 3 times a year, like we had mentioned we might do. Think about the promoter that maybe has 3 or 4 shows a night at different venues that they're doing 4 or 5 nights a week. So like sometimes it could feel like your show doesn't matter or they're not promoting it. And it's just like every single promoter that I know that works for like a bigger company, they're all in way over their heads. They're handling dozens of shows with dozens of TMs and bookers and their emails all over the place and local it's a nightmare. It's so complicated. But again, it's just like, fuck. It's like, I wish there was some way to like wrangle that in, but
like make it more sustainable.
you're just like stepping into a hurricane when you step into that world.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like, how much can you really expect?
Yeah, I don't know. Like it's like, are we looking to try to change the situation or we're just trying to fit in? Like, I don't want to be like, it's like some big rebel and start a revolution. It's like, I just want to play some shows, man.
Yeah, no.
Like,
in front of people.
Yeah, in front of people. That helps.
The bar.
That helps.
And I think creating opportunities for yourselves, like setting up the shows, is one fantastic thing to do. And then if you have an opportunity where it's a ticketed gig opening up for a national band and it makes sense, do it.
Yeah.
And then if you get a chance to get out of town and play some shows, do that. Don't overthink it. Just play what you can. That's about it, really. That's all you can really do.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of bands and none of us are all that special.
No.
It's just a matter of just playing and making sure you're all having a good time while you're doing it too. That's probably the most important thing. Because at this point, I doubt anybody at this table still like needs to be doing this.
No.
Psychologically, maybe.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, emotionally.
I think I personally have in me, like if I don't know if I could turn it off.
Yeah. No, I agree.
And if I had to, how much fucking torture would it be?
Yeah. But
Internally.
still, it's like, but how much different would it be? Like sometimes I've thought about like, how much different for me would it be if I was playing 100 shows a year versus 10 versus 5, just getting together with everybody every other week instead of every week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, would it feel that much different? I don't know. I just have this like obsessive need to just keep doing it. And it's also, I've been doing it for so long. I don't know.
You don't know different.
I don't know what else I would do.
Right.
This weekend, I didn't have any shows or anything. And I even was looking into like my friends, is anybody playing? No, but there was nothing going on. I'm like, what the fuck am I supposed to do?
What do normal people do on a weekend?
I was like, just told my girlfriend, I was just like, hey, I set aside the weekend for you.
She's like, oh, I'm going to some shows with my friends.
Damn it.
Yeah, no. I enjoy just being able to have that time to myself, but I still want to do as much as I can. It's just, I don't know. I think that if I am doing stuff, if I am playing a show on a Thursday night or something like that, it has to be worth it. I have to make sure that I'm still actually having fun. It really kills me when I play shows with bands and you could tell that it just feels like they don't even want to be there. It's like, why are you here?
It's work for them. They're like, oh, I guess we got to go do our show.
Oh yeah, there's the showing up right before you play, leaving right after you're done.
Yeah, why? Yeah. Why drag your stuff all across the city to do that?
Yeah.
It's so much easier just stay at home.
Yeah, my feeling is I already got a job I don't need a second job. If this feels like a job, then it's time just to quit because
Yeah, it's got to be fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I'm not paying the bills with this. I gotta, enjoy it, and it's gonna be enjoyable.
From my experience, like promoting shows and setting things up, when I have that issue with people, it's just like, you could have just told me you didn't want to play. I would rather just like, not. I mean, like we could have started this show a half hour later, and everybody wouldn't have been rushing after work to get here.
Yeah,
Get their shit here and get loaded in for you to, it's just like, God damn it. Ooh, I have my phone on. Rookie move. Throw that on the floor. So
nobody saw nothing.
Nobody saw nothing.
You can edit
It was
that
a sound
out,
effect.
I won't.
Yeah.
I won't. It's important to not edit your flaws. And I think that, just let it all hang out. That's a problem with rock and roll nowadays. Everything's too perfect and it's squeaky clean. Recording and production, everything sounds like robots, right?
Brian's laughing because
Let's talk about
I think this came up yesterday. We had a studio day yesterday.
Yeah, let's talk
And it
about
was-
again. I think at the top of this episode, I joked about being like what's being a rock and roll band like in 2020.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's hard because like everybody has this pressure. I feel to be very perfect in all aspects of their lives nowadays, thanks to technology and how much we share with each other, and it's definitely bled into rock music. And what's your studio experience been like?
Well, we try to get things as polished as possible and sounding sonically nice.
Okay.
Where sometimes you get lost in just, that just sounds like rock and roll was a was a quote from yesterday's studio session.
yeah.
It sounds fine. Sounds like rock and roll.
Well, we spent like 20 minutes talking about the volume of
Oh,
well, I don't even know what you call it. Like not even a backing vocal. It's like a throwaway vocal line.
Like a little like, yeah, or something.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like
And we're like,
some kind of little filler thing that wouldn't be missed if it was never hit there at all.
it's not actual lyrics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we spent 20 minutes. We're like, it's too loud. Well, no, but if you turn it down, you're not gonna be able to hear what he says.
Sounds too Jamaican.
Yeah. Did have a bit of a Jamaican
Yeah,
accent.
Too much delay. Sounds Jamaican, mom.
Dude, your ears get burned so quick. It's like
Yeah.
whenever I have stuff like that, I just have to write it down and like close it out and not listen to it for like 2 or 3 days and then come back to it.
Yeah.
What I like to do when I'm mixing stuff, because like I make the mistake of like mixing a lot of the projects that I do myself. Mm-hmm. It's like I'll like have my notes that I write and then I won't listen to it for 3 days and I'll listen to it again and write another set of notes and then compare the notes and see if there's anything that's on both sheets, then it's actually probably a problem.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we'll take like rough mixes back and like we'll all listen to them and then we'll come back with our notes. And then sometimes like you hear something one day and the next day you don't
Exactly.
You don't hear it. You're like, where'd that go? Or like I know Brian will bring something up and then he'll be like, yeah, I heard this. And we'll be like, no, we don't hear it.
Oh, sometimes you're like,
Like right there, you're
I thought I heard it. I don't hear it now.
yeah, like I'll hear like, oh, I think there's a bum note, or are we off here? And no.
Yeah, different stereo systems too can fuck
weird.
with you.
Yeah.
I just listened to some demos for a project that I was working on in the car yesterday for the first time. And there was like this synth line that was just like, dude, it was like choking me in the car. And I mean, I've been listening to it for a couple weeks just in like headphones or at the house, and it sounded fine. But there was just something about the specific frequency and whatever the car speakers are spitting out. It was just like hammering me. I was like, fuck, I gotta do something. I gotta get like a frequency checker and like listen to it in the car, see what the frequency is, and fucking scoop that out because it's intense.
I think it was like John Fogerty said like he won't finish or sign off on anything until he hears it in his car first. It can sound great in the studio, but if it doesn't sound good in his car, then it doesn't sound good.
Well, yeah,
We've done that before.
Most people listen to
Most
people
this is
listen
back
to
when people had
music in their
CDs
cars now.
back when people had CDs in the cars.
Yeah.
That's when this is an old
It's like I'll listen to it. It's so funny. It's like the last thing I'll probably check my music on now is actual like studio monitors or a home stereo, because some people don't really listen to music on home stereos anymore.
No.
I was like, what does this sound like coming through my phone speaker? What does it sound like in headphones? What does it sound like in the car?
Yeah.
Both the studios we've gone to, they have special speakers set up there. They could switch it from the studio speakers to special speakers that kind of simulate, either a car or home speaker setup,
Yeah.
and you're like, okay, that's what it'll sound like.
Or someone that doesn't know how to actually EQ it, so like it's just all flat.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, all right, well, what does it sound like? Totally flat,
What's it
no
sound- yeah.
actual EQ. So it's, you know, it's
What's it sound like? It sounds like these guys. It doesn't sound like us.
right.
That's so funny.
Where'd the bass go? Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I forget what we were talking about, but yeah,
Just like modern production and rock and roll these days.
yeah. I mean, the studio. I mean, we do try to make it polished. I think like that is one thing. Like, I don't want to. Personally, I don't want us to sound like have anything out there that's like,
Oh yeah, you want to sound good.
oh, like you could have cleaned that up.
I like recordings when I listen to it. It's like, okay, I feel like I'm in a room listening to some guys recording stuff in like
Yeah.
a really clean studio. But there's been albums that I've heard where it's like I feel like I'm listening to a bunch of people sitting around a computer. Like I'm not actually I'm listening to a mixing board. I'm not listening to people playing music because it's so like
Yeah,
it's
and
so
I know
squeaky.
pretty much every song we've left in something where, you know, one of us, and usually it's me. I'm like, oh, what about that? Can we fix that? And people, no, just leave it. It's fine.
I like using the studio as a chance to make the song what you really would like it to be if you had all the people interested in your music live that you could.
Yeah.
So that's what I like doing, you know, adding
The layers and all that
Exactly,
stuff. It's so
yeah.
fun, yeah.
Yeah, it's rare. And a lot of times, like songs take on new life in the studio, and then you get back to your practice space and you try to do what you can to replicate what you did in the studio.
Yeah.
And,
that's always
I'll
fun.
be honest, I'll admit to that because there's like times where, you know, when we played like the when I was first coming through and learning some of these new songs that we were doing, you know, I'm like, where the hell is Brian coming from when it comes to this stuff? Like, why does he want it this way? And then I remember coming back from, you know, the studio one time and listening to what we got back and all the stuff that was added to it. I'm like, oh, I get it now. Now the song makes sense. Like there's a couple times I think on some of the ones that we were doing, like I'm trying to think which one was it. Probably Magic. Like I'm like, where's this going? I don't understand it. And then after we got in the studio, added all the bits and pieces to it that you had in your head that we couldn't do in the actual basement. Then it made sense.
Yeah, after a while, after we started playing together and recording it, it's like, okay, well, now we realize we got to start thinking of when we're writing these songs, are we writing for recording? Are we writing for live? Well, we actually kind of got to think of it in terms of both.
Yeah.
So when we're playing these parts, it's like, okay, well, keep in mind when we record it, we're going to have an acoustic guitar backing in there. We're going to have a third guitar playing this lick or whatever. So how we have to decide what are we going to do live and what's going to be a studio thing. So it's when you're writing these new songs now, that's kind of what I'm thinking.
It's fun and like doing that kind of stuff. It gives people a reason to actually check out the studio stuff.
Yeah,
You get
I think it's. I don't like to go see bands live and hear the exact same thing I could hear at my house.
Sure.
So I kind of try to think of it that way. You know, I want the live red lines to be different than the recorded red lines. And honestly, when you go out to, I will sometimes think, all right, I'm listening to this song and I hear these things. Now, when I get to the show tonight and I see this band that I have tickets for, I want to specifically listen and see if I hear, and I forget all about that shit because it's live and you're just enjoying what's there now. And you don't even think, oh, it's live and they're not, I don't hear this part. It doesn't matter, you know, as long as you're there having a good time and you're enjoying what you're listening to.
Yeah, that's like you need to take that feeling that you get in that way that you're observing the music in the moment and how like you're not paying attention to every single nuance. You're just getting the broad picture and apply that to your music as you're writing it and not nitpick so much detail sometimes because when people are engaging with it, they're not engaging with all the nuance. It's just like, you know, the surface level sometimes of that stuff. So as we're rounding the corners here, we're almost at our hour. But before we pull the plug on this whole thing, you got to let people know where they can find you on TikTok and Snapchat.
Oh, we didn't have the TikTok conversation.
We didn't.
Oh, yeah.
Let's have it now.
So
What the fuck is TikTok?
What is TikTok? Yeah, nobody's explained that to me yet.
We're old enough that we don't know what.
Yeah.
I've heard the term recently.
I haven't heard shit about it.
It's just a new social media app for people that want to share funny videos of themselves.
So it's more shit we got to do now.
It's like Snapchat, but different.
Okay.
So
it's pretty
if you
much-
guys are old and you don't know what TikTok is, come see the Redlines. We're the perfect band for you.
Fit in, just
We have 8 tracks available for sale and cassette tapes and all the stuff the old people want. You know,
that
So
would be
yeah.
fun to confuse the shit out of people.
So we have your normal old people social media, Facebook. We did jump into the Instagram age, I think, in 2019.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Congrats.
Brian tried Snapchat for about
I did.
5 minutes.
You remember that?
I do, yeah. You're like, hey, you text me. Let me know when you get this. I'm like, what the fuck?
Like I have no idea how this works. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna stick to Facebook, and then we moved into Instagram.
Were your
and
pants on? Isn't that what the thing is with Snapchat where everybody sends naked pictures?
That was, I think, one of the things. But
Sure. I mean, you can send naked pictures on Snapchat. You could do that.
I thought that was the whole purpose of it. Like you just send naked pictures, then they disappear.
yeah, until you take the screenshot of it.
You know.
But then you get notified if somebody takes a screenshot.
Oh, do you?
No,
Yeah.
Tone.
I think that the interesting thing with social media is that it's proving to be a very effective way to market yourself, right? Like if you want people to know about your shit, you could post it on Facebook and you're not really jeopardizing the fundamentals of your band. On Instagram, you could also do the same thing. Like, hey, here's a photo of us in the studio. Here's a picture of our album cover. Here's a flyer for a show. Like, it's still band stuff.
Yeah.
But when bands start crossing into like this Snapchat, TikTok territory, I feel like unless you're like a pop star or like you're actually like a big brand, it seems like there's bands that are starting to kind of like turn into morph into something else where it's not so much about like, oh, this is our music and this is our thing. It's like, oh, this is like another side of me. I'm no longer just a musician, which is fine. But it's just it's like it caters and it requires like a whole different part of creativity, I guess would be the nicest way I could put it, that I'm just not really interested in engaging with.
Yeah, it's like those sites are like for behind the curtains of celebrity, and we're not there.
Or you're just like sharing like, quick videos of like nonsense and things like that. And I know people that are musicians that do TikTok and they'll post like their little, here's a 15-second video of me working on something in the studio. And if I'm in the studio, I'm not thinking about my phone for hours.
Yeah.
Like I'm not even on it. It's like sometimes I'll get home and be like, oh shit, we should have taken a picture of, Joey recording stuff today so we could have posted it.
Yeah.
But we didn't because it's like, no, I'm in here. I'm fucking working. I'm not even thinking about
Well, that's
my
what
phone.
kind of stinks is you're in the studio and it's like, oh, we should probably take some pictures and videos to post.
Yeah.
Well, get the fuck out of here. We're trying not to make noise so it doesn't bleed over to the track. And
I'm trying to work
it's
on
like-
this part. Yeah, stop getting a camera on my face. I'm trying to do this.
You're trying to create. You're trying to create art.
Yeah.
Here's a camera in your face to distract you from your creativity.
Camera in my face.
Yeah, I worry sometimes. I think that some people have let the social media get to them to a point where they feel like they're being pressured to feel that they have to post stuff, which I mean,
Oh, for sure.
we're kinda
Yeah,
like
I
we're
feel that
talking
pressure.
about. But like as somebody on the opposite end of it too, like watching my friends that do this stuff, it just starts to look kind of desperate. Like I have like a buddy of mine is just like, I've seen people that will do like the post 100 comments on this and I'll release my new song. Just release the fucking song, you dork.
We tried that.
And then like there'll be people that do like
Never got released.
No, it's something like if we get to 200 likes, we're gonna put a live video of a song or something like that. And
like anybody gave a shit.
and then we forgot to post
the
it.
video.
Do it, yeah.
And if the video's good, it'll get 200 likes. If it's not good, then you don't deserve it.
Yeah.
Or like you'll have like people that do like the gonna post my album cover next week, and then they post it like, here's the album cover, and then here's the just post this. Just skip. Don't tell me what you're gonna do.
Well, I think
just do it.
Just get on with it.
It works for somebody like Taylor Swift, who has billions of people around the world that love her and are following every second of her life. But when you're a band from Pittsburgh that has a couple hundred people that might be interested in you on whatever, like nobody cares. So
Those are your parents anyway.
Yeah. They're family and friends.
To be fair, I don't even think my parents like my Facebook.
No, I think that it's just very much just do stuff. By all means, do stuff. Don't stop creating, but don't like overshare.
Yeah.
Because then like it's almost like crying wolf to some degree. Because like once people are going to get sick of seeing you posting stuff.
But it could totally backfire. It makes you look worse than, if it doesn't work out. If you try to do these silly games and it doesn't work out, then you look goofy. You look
pathetic.
Yeah. Plus, it's a lot of energy wasted that you could be using on other things.
That's the big thing is energy and time for me. It's just like why keep.
We've tried too many of those games.
I can't even explain.
But it's like what you said. I mean, if you're in the studio and you're not even thinking about your phone because you're actually putting effort into what you want to do, and it's like, well, if you're taking that little bit out of what you're focused on to say, oh, I better post something. about this.
There's part of me when like I see like I don't use TikTok personally, but I know that there's a lot of people that I follow that use TikTok, but like will repost their TikTok or Snapchat content on Instagram or Facebook, where you can like cross-platform share stuff. And like, so I'll see TikTok videos of like somebody in the studio working on stuff. And the first thing that I see when I see that video is like, I guess you're not working that hard.
Yeah.
That's like immediately in my head. It's just like, are you working on stuff or are you just fucking around on your phone?
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair to them, they probably are working on stuff,
Right.
They could be posting that during their lunch break for all I know. Well, I try not to be judgmental, but it's just how it comes off to me.
I get a lot of my greatest works done on the crapper.
Yeah. Solved a lot of problems there.
Yep.
A lot of deep thinking going on. Yeah.
So, hey, before I forget, though, I will mention that one of the things that we've started, I've started is a bi-weekly Spotify playlist.
Oh, cool.
To highlight Pittsburgh area bands.
Yeah.
So that's something to check out. It's called the Redlines Present Killer Pittsburgh Jams. So I think this is my fifth one currently. It's, I got the same picture. Everyone, just trying to build followers so everyone can just repeatedly listen. Every 2 weeks, there's a new 10 songs, just Pittsburgh area bands. Killer shit. We have a great scene.
Hell yeah.
A lot of different styles, and I try to make a nice flowing playlist that I think I'm usually successful. Every once in a while, it's like, fuck it, I'm running out of time. I got to get this done. And, but every 2 weeks, 10 songs, not long, 45 minutes at most, for people to check out and listen to some new bands and hopefully go out and see them.
Hell yeah.
So,
and if we get 50 subscribers, we'll release a special live song on that.
yeah, the next playlist will have 11 songs.
Yeah. Ooh.
Hell yeah.
Change the picture.
Where, before we pull the plug on this, where can people find the Redlines?
On all the usual streaming platforms, social media is Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah.
I don't think we've tweeted anything for a really long time.
But we're on Twitter. But
I'm pretty sure that like 15% of Twitter accounts are just inactive band pages. They're active bands, but just like dead accounts.
I personally, I think I have, I think 5 or 6 Twitter accounts. I use 0. I just have them for bands. Some of our old bands had Twitter accounts, just some goofy ones from friends. Never use it. I have nothing to say.
Yeah. Twitter's hard. It's not for me.
But we have Twitter. We're on Spotify. We're on Bandcamp. Technically, we have SoundCloud, but we don't really use it.
We talked about putting some just oddball crap on there.
Yeah.
That we normally wouldn't put on streaming platforms. Stuff that we're a little less proud about.
Yeah.
That could be fun.
Yeah.
And I think we're, at least personally, I'm mostly on Facebook. So all the stuff that I would post for the bands on Facebook, but that's just because I've been using Facebook for so long. And we have a website, theredlines.us.
Not sure. I think we update it twice a year.
Yeah. Well, it was being updated more because we used to take the events from Facebook would actually feed into the website. And so I didn't have to really technically update it at all. It would just do it. And then they started charging for that plugin. And I was like, I'm not paying for it. So,
oh, okay.
So now it updates.
Now I understand.
Now it only updates whenever somebody yells at me and makes fun of me for not updating it. So it'll probably be updated tomorrow.
All right.
Get shamed into it.
Yeah. Sounds like a pretty accurate representation of being in a band.
Yeah.
So that's it. And that is all, folks. Thanks so much for listening. Thank you all for being here. The Redlines. I appreciate it, my
welcome.
friends.
Thanks for having us.
Good meeting everybody. Good chatting with you.
Yeah.
You too.
Thank you.
I'll be back again in a couple days with another episode. Same time, same place, same channel. You know the drill. My name is Sykes. Start the beat. 2020. Woo woo! I forgot what year it was. Thanks for listening, and we are done. All right.
Oh, my ears are hot.
Oh, sorry.